Hello, Morten. Thank you for taking me on my invitation to interview you. You've become now the face of INKISH. We see you everywhere interviewing everyone, and I thought, well, it would be quite interesting to hear what Morten has to say and where his passion for print comes from. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, Morten.
First of all, when I got your mail where you asked for this, I was smiling, and I showed it to Jan, and we were like, well, crazy idea, but why not? So my passion for the industry, my passion for print, I think it actually started back in about 99 or something like that. Together with some friends, I wanted to do a music magazine in Denmark. And we didn't know whether we should buy a PC or an Atari or a Macintosh computer. So we were chasing different shops to get advice about what to buy. And we ended up with a Macintosh LC2 14-inch monitor and a Quark Express 0.9 and a SideQuest 44 megabyte drive. And you may say, why is that important? Well, the reason why this is relatively important is because then when we finished the first edition of the magazine and we wanted to get it printed, no printer's ever seen a SideQuest before. So we were in Copenhagen visiting, numerous printing companies, and none of them were able to take them unless we found one that was capable of doing it. And I realized that the link between electronics like computers and how to get that on paper at that time was like something entirely new, and that kind of fascinated me. So I think that maybe already from that time where I was not an editor, I was just a writer. And then later I became an editor of another magazine and started in that journey, and then I started working in the printing industry in sales and in management. I think this industry is fascinating, to be honest. I think it's great because really nice people here. I think it's a huge business, a huge industry with a lot of opportunities that are still unexplored. And I just think it's fun, to be honest.
So you've interviewed a lot of people in the industry, and you've viewed or showcased a lot of technologies. How is it that you make it such a great? How do you manage to get the story out, basically?
I think that everything we do is based on some kind of just curiosity, to be honest, because. I don't think the industry is very. I mean, on two different levels, I think the industry is a little bit behind. We need to tell each other stories to each other to get wiser and know and learn more. But we also, as an industry, really need to market our services better to the print buyers and the customers. So I think that is the two things that has been the main driver for me. Trying to see if we could make stories interesting, but driven a lot by curiosity. Now we have, INKISH is a very small company. We have 5 people working for us, including myself. I would say that initially I didn't have any idea on how to really go on with a project, but now we have started developing not styles of questions, because we rarely prepare that, but more like processes. So one of the things that is truly important to me is that we have, as I said to you before, subscribing to the 7 news criteria, to have that a basis so people understand that we are trying to work on the highest integrity and the highest level of journalistic principles. That is one thing. Second thing is that we have tried to develop our own process of how to get into a story, which I think has worked quite good for us, because people are nervous when they get on camera, right? So how do you make people feel more comfortable? And that is it's a spiral process that we have done. It's quite simple. And then I think that, again, the curiosity of the industry, understanding that when I talk to you, for example, you are an expert, let me ask some questions to an expert. That is not something that everybody can do every day, right? So those kind of things are important. And then from our perspective, it's been also trying to be very people to people, human to human, which is fun because we have met people from all over the world today. A couple of months ago, we passed the film number 1,000, and I have interviewed a great deal of 1,000 people, and still when I look at the films, I still remember each person and remember the scenario where you were interviewing people. And I still think it's. I know some of my colleagues, they have made a lot of more films, but I think ours are the best anyway.
Well, congratulations on that. It sounds like an important milestone. And so where do you build on that? How will you build on that? And what would the INKISH of tomorrow be? Where will INKISH be in the future? I think that one of the things that is important to us is to stay and really work hard on being, as you said, you wanted to be vendor agnostic. We want to be unbiased. We want to be seen as a media that is not, how should I say it, that is not up for the money. Everybody needs to make money, but we really want to have that independency. And one of the ways that we're working on is basically we're working on, and we've been working on that for some years, but it's still well under progress, is trying to build a platform where people can subscribe to minor services, microservices in the range of 50 cents, $1, $5. So we eventually get hopefully enough people subscribing to the services that we are not depending on vendor sponsors. We are, as with any other media in the world, depending on subscribers and sponsors and advertisers. And as we don't have advertising, the sponsors are the main revenue source we have today. And I think in the future you will see INKISH still want to work with vendors on sponsor levels, but we will become more independent from them because our revenues will change to something different. Oh, very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. So when we follow you on social media, we see that you're pretty much traveling the world these days. Is there a place or places in particular that you've really appreciated visiting?
I mean, besides Canada?
Obviously, besides Canada.
I think that Jan and I travel with the most. I think our favorite spot is I think there's two places, and that's Japan and Israel. I think they are the two places we like the most to go. But I mean, everywhere is nice. I think that I'd speak for both me and Jan that we don't really like to travel too much, but we like getting to the place where we're going to meet people. It is a people's thing, and everywhere we come is a new opportunity to get to know new people, and it's just wonderful. That is really what I like the most about INKISH, to be honest. And if I could afford to fly business class or first class all the time, it might be a little bit more convenient to fly as well, but that is not within the budgets, right?
Okay, very good. Well, if there's something that you would like to have communicate to your followers, because you have quite the following, it's pretty impressive. What would you like for them to remember?
First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity. It's very uncommon, and actually, I don't feel that I'm important in any way. I feel that I'm a person that tries with INKISH to bring other people's stories to the awareness of the industry. And I think that's important because there are people that are way better at promoting themselves, becoming like social media stars. I think that the curiosity I have for the industry is basically what has given me a status that has changed since the pandemic. Because before the pandemic, I was rarely on camera. I wrote a lot of articles, which I still continue to do. But I think that the pandemic being on a lot of over the Skype, which I also did with you, a lot of webinars, a lot of these things has made me more known in the industry. It's not important to me at all, to be honest. What's important to me is that we find the right stories and also dare sometimes to push the boundaries, writing stories that some people may not like. Not because I want to be the one that expose people, but I think it's important we have at least one media in the industry that dares to be the critical media and the voice of the industry also when something is not the way it should be supposed to be. I don't know if you know that, but here in Canada, for example, the Benpack story that I've written about in Switzerland and has now moved to here. So basically a lot of companies are exposed to maybe something that is on the edge of being a fraudful business. And I really feel sorry for the Canadians about that situation. And we will keep exposing the business methods in order to make sure that people can take their precautions. And that is maybe the most important thing for INKISH, is to have that willingness to put everything on risk, and everything is on risk. I don't know if you know, but we are sued by Heidelberg right now, and every day now we're waiting for the sentence from the court in Hamburg, and maybe that will be the end of INKISH, who knows.
Okay, well, on this note, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to interview you, and thank you for visiting Canada.
Great to be here, Julie. Thank you very much.